Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of Not a Competition. With your hosts, obviously, Sean Brady and Mario.
Hey guys.
There he is. Um, we will be switching up the format a little this time through. We're going to continue with our opening round, get the juices flowing with some Will You Press the Button? Then we're going to move on to we're doing brackets for our second feature. Just a quick little shuffle here, get some ratings out there real quick and fresh. And then we're going to go into a tier list for our final section. But we have prepared each our own tier list, and we'll be making comparisons. So it's a little quicker of a segment than you're used to. And hopefully it all goes a little faster than we've been recording recently. But first, I'm going to start off proposing a question to Maru here.
Yes.
Will you press the button? Mario, you can get concert tickets to anything you want. Big positive.
Big
but
positive.
You have to sit in the crappiest, farthest seat away from the stage.
Ooh. Ooh. Tough.
So a good comment already in the comment section.
What's the comment?
Well, let's see if it changes your choice here. He says, "Ha, joke's on you," or she maybe, although their name's Jimmy. Ha, joke's on you. Metal shows are general audience, so like the shittiest seat is the best seat also.
Ooh, I was kind of thinking that, like, even on something like that, like, I would just have to sit, like, in the far
I
corner.
kind of feel the same.
You know?
I think that's in the spirit of the question.
So, the entrepreneur in me is thinking, hey, I want to go to every concert, but then I really don't, and then I'm just flipping all these tickets. I don't know if that goes against the spirit of it. If it does, oh well. But I'm liking this, because, like, even this, I feel like, I'm going to also say, like, I can't just, like, buy a good ticket. Like, let's say I really want to see...
That was my question.
I'm going to say you can't.
You have to use the power. Like, if I just was like, oh, I'm just going to buy a nice ticket to, like, a concert and pay money for it.
I like
Because then it's, like, no downside, which is my favorite type of press button, where it's just like, a sold-out show of, like, Madonna's last show that your significant other just dying to see, but it's sold out. Well, guess what, baby? We got tickets. We're in a crappy seat, but, like, you'll see. or something like that, you know? Or you could just, like, get crappy concert tickets to Justin Bieber's sold-out show and sell them for $400 or something like that.
Or see him because you're a big fan. But so I'll say, yeah, you can't buy your own better ticket, but I still take this, right? Just because, like, I want to see as many shows as possible.
I don't know, because then it changes it to, like, you'll never see a concert from good seats again.
But I think this is where quantity over
now
quality.
There's a price to pay. There's a price to pay. Maybe. I'm not the kind of person that needs to be all the way up there, so it's not too big of a negative for me. But what if there's like a poll? Ooh. If the crappiest is described by farthest, and it says crappiest farthest, which implies that maybe both
happen. I think both.
Because, like, you could have a close seat, but, like, there's just a pole right in the view, and that sucks. So I wonder if you're doing both. Like, I wouldn't want a pole, but I could sit far away. It's a tough call.
I'll also say
I'm pushing it.
It's concert tickets, so it's not even like sports tickets, opera tickets. It's like concert tickets. It's like if I want to go to Warped Tour, I gotta get the crappiest farthest seat. I still do it though.
Like, Warped Tour is a little weird because you're going stage to stage, but I wouldn't do it. I don't think, because I'd rather see a few shows where I want to see them than be able to be like, I could also go to the Nicki Minaj concert, and I like some of her songs. It's like, no, I'll just skip. I'm going to press the button for what you said. Ooh, close match. 52% pressed, 48% did not press. So I think with the interpretation that we did, I would not have pressed it. If it's, like, basically free, then that would be great. Let's go to our second one. You have access to $1 million for 30 minutes. But you can only spend the money through online stores on very slow, unstable internet, and if you don't spend every penny, you will be poor the rest of your life.
Oh my goodness. How slow is very slow, unstable? Because you just gotta make, like, one purchase, right?
Right.
Like, you just go online and buy, like, one gold nugget, and then you're done. And then, by the time it gets mailed to you, you've already spent the money, you've already jumped through the hoops.
Well, it depends. It depends. Right? There's a special layer that you have to do for this gold nugget. And hear me out.
Okay.
You buy it on eBay.
Okay.
Because on eBay, you can find an auction for something you want. So you can get a few things that you want if the internet puts up with it. And then for the last thing you purchase, whatever the rest, because you have to spend every penny. So you can't just buy gold from a gold website. They're not going to be like, all right, you can spend $1 million. They're going to be like,
Yeah,
just this much. So you have to do a full auction where you basically bet all the money on a buy now price. So if it's like buy now 600, you put $1 million and hit buy now and spend $1 million.
I think I do this, but I'm really weary about how unstable this internet is. Because even if you're trying to make one purchase, if it doesn't go through, you're
Right.
poor. If you don't spend every penny.
I would assume that it's at least fast enough to do a few purchases. Because if their assumption is that it can't even do one, then it's just like, what's the point? Like, there is no upside then. But either if you can at least do one, then you just buy like, you work out a car for like $1 million. You're like, I'll pay you $1 million for that car and make it a flat million so that you definitely spend every penny of it. But I do like your way of like, if you buy something that maintains value, when you become poor, if you don't spend all the million, maybe you can sell that thing to bring yourself back out of being poor, but it seems to indicate a magical force will make you poor for the rest of your life, regardless of what you do about it.
Yeah, for sure.
This man said, yes, I would like to buy one prepaid card for $1 million.
But where would you find that?
You get that at like a Quiznos or something. I'm going to put yes. I think we both agreed that that's probably what we do.
That's it. What do the people think?
The people said 60% no.
Frugal. No risk it, no risk it.
Insane. This person says, I would buy a Bugatti Veyron and then sell it when the 30 minutes are up. And then someone said, you, sir, are very clever. But I don't get it.
I don't think they're that clever.
Yeah, because they'll just be poor the rest of their life if they don't sell it until after. And if they sell it immediately before, they owned one for 20 minutes, but they never got to drive it because it didn't ship to them or anything. So let's just wrap it up with our last one here. Get a palate cleanser going. You become friends with Bill Gates, who turns out to be a really nice guy, it turns out. And you also marry the person you like, which is like staple, will you press the button? Forcefully marrying someone. Your best friend will get all the superpowers in Saints Row 4. Look them up if you don't know what they are, Maru. And she or he will never let you see them in action. They will also be 40% more likely to win the lottery. What a strange result this is. That's crazy.
This person just slapped this together at like 4 a.m. Like, that's when the creative juices were flowing.
What? Sorry, what was that last time?
That's just where the juices were flowing. Like, where is this going?
But this is one of the ones that was made by a bad person. And I say that because what is the first part? You get to be friends with Bill Gates, who turns out to be a nice guy. I don't know if that does anything for you. If he's nice enough to give you money, great. But that doesn't really do anything for you.
You get a friend, Brady. That's worth the button press.
Right. And then you also get to marry the person you like, which is wonderful. Hopefully they like you too.
That doesn't matter.
So that's pretty positive. You can marry the love of your life is basically the top one. And get a friend.
And Bill Gates is probably your best man.
Yes. But the negative, and this is why I said the person's a bad person, the negative is just someone you really care about, your best friend, possibly Bill Gates.
Possibly Bill Gates.
Will get all positives in their life. And so why would you ever not... If you're a good person, you should probably hit the button even if it's just the second part. Your best friend gets superpowers. You don't get to see them, but they also get to win the lottery, 40% chance. So,
Joke.
That's great.
I'm reading this button as, yeah, Bill Gates is my best man. My best friend is whoever I'm going to marry. So then they're going to be 40% more likely to win the lottery.
Yeah. Like, even if your best friend was just, like, some schmo on the street, it's like, hey, I'm going to hit this button. You're going to get the ability to win the lottery. Just give me some money. It would be cool. But, like, you want the best for your friends, right? This is like, this person was a jealous person. It was like, I don't know if I could deal with my friend getting all this cool stuff. It's not worth me finding the love of my life. I'll say that.
Ooh.
What's the downside? There is none. You and your friend get lucky.
Yeah.
And then someone said, wait, I just realized something. If Bill Gates becomes your best friend, he gets the powers. Okay. So I think we're both going to hit this one.
both slamming it.
Okay. 31% were like, no. How dare my friend have power?
My friend better not win the lottery. I will say, I don't know the powers in Saints Row 4. They could be terrible powers.
No, they're pretty good, I think. I think you can, like, run super fast and, like, enough to climb up the walls of buildings, and you can jump really high and stuff. And then I think you do, like, a hovery thing. You don't, like, quite fly, but you, like, glide a little bit.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Like in Prototype.
Right. And then also, like, it depends what they mean. Those are the official powers in the game, but if you turn on cheats in Saints Row 4, your guy can, like, take infinite damage, be in explosions, and never take any damage. So, like, if those count too, you're doing pretty all right for yourself. But with that, let's wrap up our "You have pressed the button" section, or "Will you press the button," I should say. Let's take it over to our brackets here. We got 2 brackets to look at. These brackets are for fast food chains. A little known fact, we mentioned it last week in passing, but we did a full tier list for fast food places, or quick dining, as some of the places were called. This list has some of those, but it also has a few, like, what I wouldn't really refer to as fast, like Cinnabon and Annie Ann's Pretzels. What did you think of the list here?
Yeah, it did feel a little all over the place because it's just such a range of them. Like, and I didn't like the matchups. I think it was done alphabetically, but some of my absolute favorite places, like, just a spoiler, like Checkers versus Chick-fil-A. Like, that's like the 1 seed against the 5 seed in the first round.
Tough matchup in the first round. I have the same problem with the right side of my bracket feels very heavy with my favorites, and the left side feels very light. So Chick-fil-A is maybe my 6th or 7th favorite fast food place on this whole map, and it's still maybe like 6th or 5th is a better bet, but it still came in second in these brackets here. And just for anyone watching the video, on the left is my bracket, and on the right you can see in the name of the file here, this is this is Mario's bracket on the right here. We'll get some title cards for the next time. This is something we didn't consider ahead of time. I'm also looking at, like, the background, and there's, like, fast food logos, and there's, like, it looks like Edmonton Burger or something behind here.
It looks like a volcano.
Right. I don't think that logo's on this list.
Nope.
So,
The lost fast food place.
for the centerpiece.
Dunkin's is also in that background.
And they didn't make the cut either.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
To the left of Edmonton Burger.
Oh yeah. Right. So we're gonna make this a quicker process. So we're just gonna take a look at our Elite Eights. So basically, that's the 4 right here, where my mouse is going, and the 4 right here. So, like, right before the semifinals and the quarterfinals, that's what we're looking at for each of our brackets. We're just talk about some of the teams, some of the fast food teams and how they got here. So I'm going to start us off talking about this top left bracket. For those listening at home, that's Arby's, Jack in the Box, A&W, Annie Ann's, Boston Market, Burger King, Checkers, and Chick-fil-A. In order, that is that top left bracket. So for me, the 2 that made it out of that division were A&W, who took down Annie Ann's Pretzels in the first round. Tough match, because Annie Ann's Pretzels is, like, it's terrible for you, but, like, you get that pretzel hot dog, dip it
Delicious.
in some food. That's a gross meal that anyone can enjoy.
With the lemonade to top it off.
Right. Big lemonade fan. Mario is. I hear a lot about Chick-fil-A's lemonade. Um, and then they took down Arby's in the second round there. Arby's had beat Jack in the Box just because I haven't had it before. So that was the sole reason for that. And then for the bottom half of that division, Chick-fil-A beat Checkers in a close one, Mario. I agree. That's a tough matchup. And then after Boston Market beat the shit out of Burger King because it's garbage, Chick-fil-A took Boston Market down. And then I'll just sum it up. At the end of that division was Chick-fil-A beating A&W. So I'll just take it to my final four on that one. Why don't you tell me about your top left side?
Yeah, top left side, Arby's. I can't give Arby's any victories, so Jack in the Box beat them. Annie Ann's beat A&W because I'm a sucker for lemonade, I'll admit it.
That's true. A&W has lemonade, but Mario's never been there, so it's understandable.
That also hurts their chances. So, Boston Market versus Burger King. I'm a closet Boston Market guy. Like, I think they're delicious. I really like their meatloaf, their turkey. And I feel like you don't get turkey enough, like, outside Thanksgiving, so they always get props in my eyes.
Is this something that needs to be closeted? Like, is there a strong community that pushes back against Boston Market lovers?
You know, I keep it close to my vest. It's not really something
fair.
I lead with, but now you all know. So
Better safe than sorry.
And then the last matchup, the Chick-fil-A versus Checkers. Like I said, this could have been like they could have met in the Final Four, but unfortunately they met here, and Chick-fil-A edged them out.
I hear you.
And then
Why don't you tell me about your bottom left?
Yeah, bottom left. We got.
So we both have Chick-fil-A. Just to summarize, sorry for the. I'm thinking of the visual people here, but for the audio listeners, both of us had Chick-fil-A come out of our top left bracket.
Yep. Bottom left, we got Chipotle versus Cinnabon. Not even close, Chipotle.
Great logo, too. For those who are just listening, it's just zoomed in and basically just says hippo. So
also a big
right.
hippo guy.
Hippo versus Inman Bow.
Then we got Jimmy John's versus Dairy Queen. This was close. Dairy Queen's got ice cream, but I prefer a good Sammy. Moving on, we got Five Guys versus Hardee's. I want to say I can't.
That's Hardee's, yeah. Slash Carl Jr.'s, from what I understand.
Yeah, Five Guys is top tier. Hardee's not even close. Last but not least, in the bottom left, we got In-N-Out versus White Castle. I'm a big White Castle guy. They grew on me. I love the sliders. I love just eating a bunch of little things. I don't know. That feels great.
They grow inside of you, that's for sure. West Coast listeners, as I'm going to give my left side here. In-N-Out fans, both me and Mario live on the East Coast. I'm not sure either one of us have ever had In-N-Out. I know that's like the big thing over there, and we're fools for not ranking it higher. I get that. But it's mostly because we never had it before. So, for me, I also, in the battle of Hippo or Chipotle versus Cinnabon, I chose Cinnabon because Chipotle sucks. Moving on from that matchup, I think we might have full opposites. Oh, no, we don't. Our bottom half is equal. Jimmy John's I've never had before. So as a staple for this list, I did not include things I never had. So Dairy Queen automatically beat them. But then it also beat Cinnabon to take it into the Elite Eight. On the lower half of the bracket, I also chose Five Guys to beat Hardee's. And I had Five Guys beat White Castle after In-N-Out just because, again, I've never had In-N-Out. And White Castle sucks. Five Guys, interestingly enough, when I printed out a picture of our second Lost Episodes tier list, and Five Guys I was kind of arguing against. And most people were like, you're out of your mind. The only problem with Five Guys is the cost. And I'm like, I hear you, but to me it's pretty normal. And that's why I had Dairy Queen take out Five Guys to move in to the Final Four. And you had the opposite. You had Five Guys take down Chipotle. So for our left sides, we have Chick-fil-A and Dairy Queen for myself, and Chick-fil-A and Five Guys for Mr. Maru. Would you like to discuss the top right?
Yeah, top right, we got El Pollo Loco versus Taco Bell. Taco Bell, easy upset. Then moving on, we got Subway versus Sonic. Something about the rollerblades and Sonic, and you can get mott sticks at Sonic. I feel like that's not something that a lot of fast food places adapt.
Right. Corn dogs,
tater tots. So they're just ahead of the game.
And they have a similar dessert output to Dairy Queen, I would say. There's a lot of good desserts there.
A lot of good desserts there. And good slushes. Like, the list goes on. Sonic,
Oh yeah,
Sonic has depth. You know, like, they have a good bench.
absolutely.
Okay, we got Wendy's versus KFC in the next one. Wendy's took this one. This was a little close. There was a time where KFC would have taken this, but I've just grown to appreciate Wendy's. And their Frosties. Like, can't beat a Frosty.
Right.
Next, you got McDonald's versus Long John Silver. Golden Arches moving on. Quiznos versus Steak and Shake. I like Steak and Shake.
Man's going all the way down his left side, or his right side of me.
Oh, yeah? I'm just on a roll.
Yeah, why you go to the final, the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16 and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'll move on. So I got back on this upper right. So we got Taco Bell versus Sonic. This was tough. But Taco Bell, as we discussed in the last episode, is just so high on my tier list. So Taco Bell beats Sonic in a close one. Wendy's versus McDonald's. The battle of the two staples in burger fast foods. But Wendy takes it. You know, Dave's famous. And then Taco Bell versus Wendy's. Taco Bell. Taco Bell gets it. The bell rings. So Taco Bell moves on from the Upper East.
The bell tolls for thee, Wendy's. My list, very similar. Never had Polo Loco. Taco Bell moves on. Subway, Sonic. Gotta go Sonic every time. Wendy's versus KFC. Wendy's battle. Feels similar to you. I don't not enjoy KFC, but it's the second best chicken. It's probably the third best chicken place on here out of 3. So Wendy's moves on. McDonald's over Long John Silver's. Miss me with that seafood. Then we're going to have Taco Bell in the Sweet 16 brutalize Sonic. Sonic used to be one of my nostalgia favorites, but since it's moved up north, it just doesn't hit as good as when I had to go traveling down south for it. But I do like their plethora of options. Wendy's is going to take out McDonald's in, as you said, the battle of large fast food chains here. And I had Taco Bell lose to Wendy's.
Ooh.
These are probably like my 1 and 2s of like fast food. Maybe not my all-time favorite, best tasting things, but these are the guys I'm at way double the amount of time as any other places on here. So Wendy's is going to take down Taco Bell for me to move into the Final Four. For Mario, it's going to be the opposite. Taco Bell taking down Wendy's. I'm going to quickly go through here my bottom right, which is our last division here. I've got Quiznos beating Steak and Shake. Never had it. It sounds like I'd like Steak and Shake a lot better than Quiznos, though, if I'm being honest.
I appreciate you honoring your never had it.
Yes, I think it would be better, though. Turns out you were wrong. Dunkin' Donuts is actually on this
Yeah,
list.
I saw that. So
Against
forgettable.
Jersey Mike Subs, which I've never had. So Dunkin' Donuts moved on. Dunkin' Donuts is good, but for me, it's not really like a fast food chain. So like, I was feeling a little bad about this one, and that's why Quiznos took down Dunkin' Donuts in the next matchup.
Ooh.
But for the bottom half of the bracket, I had Panda Express fall to Panera Bread. Panera Bread, it's a solid. It fills a niche that no other fast food. Like, look at this list. Nobody's doing what Panera Bread does.
No
You know,
one's
I'm
being
not saying it's healthy,
Ooh.
but you know, it's different options. You know, it makes you feel like you're healthy. And then at the bottom we have Popeyes, the best chicken place on this list, versus Whataburger, I believe that is,
Yes.
which I've never had before, which is a Texas thing, if I'm not mistaken. So that would pair up Panera Bread and Popeyes in the bottom half of the division, where Popeyes takes it. And then Popeyes also took out Quiznos in my Sweet 16, making Popeyes my final four contender. You want to tell us about your bottom right?
Yeah, my bottom right. So honestly, it's like the opposite of yours. Steak and Shake beats Quiznos. I like a
Is
burger
that
and
a Florida
milkshake.
one, Steak and Shake, or have you had it up here?
I had that down in Florida, but a good burger with an egg on it and a milkshake just beats a sub. Like, no question.
Yeah, sounds great. Just couldn't commit.
Next one, Jersey Mike's, which is like, yeah, I'll say like a fancier, not even a fancier, but like a Subway parallel. So that takes down, you know, a coffee place and a donut place.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
Panera versus Panda, battle of two P's. I like Panera. Like, even if they aren't really healthy, they trick me into thinking I'm eating healthy, and that gets a lot of points in my book.
And it's a tasty place.
Tasty place. Then you got Popeyes versus Whataburger. The chicken's moving on. Popeyes moves on.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely.
Next round, we got Steak and Shake versus Jersey Mike's. I said it before, I'll say it again. A burger with an egg on it and a milkshake beats a sub. So, Steak and Shake advances.
4 subs. I never had a chance.
Panera versus Popeyes. Panera gets it. Because, like I said, I like this illusion of eating healthy. So, I'll take it. I'll take it so much so that Panera then upsets Steak and Shake. The burger with an egg on it with a milkshake.
Fans are going wild over it.
So Panera won their division.
All right, great to hear. So that puts Mario's Final Four at Chick-fil-A, Five Guys in one matchup. And in the right side, Taco Bell versus Panera. For me, that's going to be Chick-fil-A versus Dairy Queen. Surprising pick. I did not think Dairy Queen would be showing up in my Final Four.
But here we are.
It was just a weak lower bracket for me. Five Guys had a shot, but it didn't happen. And then that puts Wendy's and Popeyes on the right side of the bracket for myself. So I'll go through my finals here, and it's going to be Chick-fil-A taking on Dairy Queen. Chick-fil-A, I talk about it a lot in the Lost episode, but Chick-fil-A is the restaurant with probably the best tasting menu item of any fast food place. But after that, it's consistently mediocre for me, except for the lemonade, which I've never had that Mario likes to hype up. But besides that one menu item, that's all that carries it. It does easily beat Dairy Queen, though. Great desserts, not bad menu items, but like Chick-fil-A's got the sandwich to beat them all, the chicken sandwich with the Chick-fil-A sauce. On my right side, Wendy's, what I consider to be the strongest fast food chain, takes down one of my favorite, probably my third favorite fast food chain, Popeyes, in a battle of the Titans, leading to Wendy's eliminating Chick-fil-A and becoming my bracket fights champion of fast food places. Mario, why don't you take us through your Final Four here?
Final Four, left side, Chick-fil-A versus Five Guys. The battle of the best chicken sandwich versus probably the best burger. So's good. Two handhelds.
I'm not a huge burger guy, and maybe that's why Five Guys doesn't do it crazy for me. But I could see Five Guys having the best burger of any fast food place.
Exactly. It really is two titans of just sandwiches right here. And I'm giving it.
They both have similar sides, right? They're just we do fries, and then
Exactly. You're getting some meat in between two pieces of bread and a side of fries. But Chick-fil-A has lemonade, and Five Guys does not. Chick-fil-A moves on.
Ding, ding, ding.
Other side, you got Taco Bell versus Panera. This is just like a complete polar opposite. One, I feel healthier by the second. The other, I feel worse by the second. But, I mean, the guilty pleasure Taco Bell takes down Panera. So then in the head-to-head, we got Chick-fil-A versus Taco Bell. This was close, but Chick-fil-A got it. Chick-fil-A, the staple, the spicy chicken with the waffle fries. You put a couple waffle fries on the spicy chicken sandwich. That's a little life hack for the people.
Wow.
Take that with you. And again, lemonade on the side. Incredible.
Well, excellent bracket there, Mario. I do have one question. We kind of both went over the brackets. Tier list, it tends to reflect our opinions a little truer because we have choice over what's on top a little bit more than this. But and so I think both our Final Fours, if we can pick 4 out of each of the fast foods listed here, it would be a lot different for us. But when we get down to the finals, do you feel good about your pick there? You feel like Chick-fil-A is your favorite out of all of these, or just matchup-wise it happened to make it through?
No, I think that the best won. I think that there was a little craziness in the early rounds. I do think some Checkers really deserved a spot in the Final Four. They could have taken down Panera.
Making it into your Elite Eight is a very, very...
Ant shouldn't have won 2 matchups, but here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way. I feel like Wendy's made it out. Wendy's, the hardest bracket, probably, I would say, out of the 4. Having to take down the McDonald's. Wendy's road to the show was KFC, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Panera, and Chick-fil-A. Well, I'm sorry, I'm looking at yours over here. KFC, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Popeyes, and Chick-fil-A, which I think is a gauntlet. I think for most people's lists, everything except maybe Popeyes is America loves all those. Those are very popular chains. So I think Wendy's had a tough road. So I think the best had to win because they just had to beat so many high tier foods. But I think we had a similar showings with Taco Bell making it deep runs on mine. We had some similarities and other differences. But I think it was a good reflection of the fast food market. And from there, let us take it over to our tier list for the day.
What do we got for tier lists?
So I'm going to bring up our 2 tier lists here. Let me just pull them up. Our tier list today are sandwiches. And this is just credit. Let me just check out who made this tier list. If I can find it out from here. No. Unless Tier Maker made this actual list, which I'm not 100% convinced in. The for Twitter them, but that might just be the bottom of their page. I'll check it out at the end, but credit to them. As you can see from this list, this is kind of a bigger picture, so I want to focus here. You have pictures of the things, you have names of the things, and you have ingredients of the things. A very easy way for, if you don't know an item, to be able to be like, will I like this? Which is helpful. Not everybody's had every sandwich. So that was very helpful. Mario making the great addition to his tier list of calling D tier trash, which I should have done as well, but
henceforth be known.
What was that?
I said it will henceforth be known as trash.
Absolutely. D tier is my trash tier as well. Just going through our ranks here, S tier is going to be sandwiches that we would eat no matter what. Thank you. It's delicious and tasty. A tier is like, yes, I will most likely have this sandwich. I'd have to be in a real state to be like making a pass on one of these. B is like, yeah, that's a good sandwich sometimes. Other times I'm not feeling it. It depends on the day. C tier is like, I'd eat it like if I had to. If I was at my significant other's family's house and this is what we're doing. And then trash tier is like, I would tell my significant other's family, no thank you. So we're going to take it there, and the basic format of us going through our list together, as you can see, I've labeled it the same way. Sorry. Mario is going to be on the right side, and I will be on the left side. And if you ever need to differentiate for those viewers at home, just look at the name of the file at the top. So how we're going to do this is we're going to start going through S tier together. I'll probably read off mine to start. Mario will interject, and then we'll go through some of Mario's S tier, and we'll just go down through the list. If we've talked about any sandwich on a previous spot in the list, we'll probably just pass over it for now. But with that, let me just start with the best sandwich that is on this list, ladies and gentlemen. And that is the bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich. And that, ingredient-wise, is a fried egg, American cheese, and bacon, usually on a Kaiser roll. Doesn't specify that, but
it's an important detail.
Best sandwich, it's like literally hits the spot no matter what, especially if you're on a hangover run. Even better, but you can't go wrong. When one's put in front of you, you just devour it every time. It always hits the spot. What say you?
Yeah, my bacon, egg, and cheese was a little lower. It's an A tier, just because I don't think any breakfast sandwich deserves to be an S tier. It just doesn't do it for me.
You're not a strong breakfast proponent, so
breakfast. Yeah, breakfast is fine. I couldn't put any breakfast sandwiches in S tier, but this is at the A tier for me, so it's close.
You know what? Respectable. I think we could have had it if we were doing our own tier, top of A, bottom of S type of situation, and that would have been okay with me. I'm going to move to my next one here, which is the grilled cheese. This one I had a tougher time with. Grilled cheese, one of my all-time favorite sandwiches. This is a cheese sandwich, fried with butter, I believe is the rest of that statement there. It's a little small for me right now.
Yeah.
But the thing about a grilled cheese is like it's very simple. And so that's why it has a tough time in the S tier. It's a delicious sandwich, one of the best, but it is very simple, so I understand people's apprehension to place it so high. Pair it with a tomato soup, and you're in heaven. But this is just the sandwich we're talking about. So I understand most people probably wouldn't have it this high, but for me personally, it's one of my favorite sandwiches.
Yeah, grilled cheese, again, I can't put any breakfast food in the S tier. I just don't have it in me.
Wait. Let me stop you right there. Grilled cheese is a breakfast food.
Yeah, for sure. You're telling me you never had grilled cheeses growing up for breakfast?
Never once, no.
That's wild.
Breakfast is like usually an egg type thing, or like pancake waffle French toast situation. A grilled cheese is a standard diner lunch staple. You're puzzling me here.
Yeah, growing up, this was a breakfast in the Adamo household.
I mean, it's not a terrible breakfast food. It's better than being like, we had steak. It's like, oh, interesting.
So I couldn't put it in the S tier, and this wasn't even an A for me because it's like I like the kind of flexibility. I like that it could be 2 meals, lunch or breakfast,
Yes.
but it's just it doesn't have enough going on for me. It's literally just cheese on bread that you've put in a pan.
How many of these sandwiches are a meat, lettuce, tomato, whatever, with melted cheese? It's basically,
But that's the difference,
building
is
block
they
of other-
have those things.
Right. I understand where you're coming from. I just don't live there myself.
It's just, yeah, it's like, yeah, like bricks are cool, but like I'd rather have a house than some bricks. I don't know.
But bricks do be tasty, though. That brings us to our third item on my list, which happens to be the first tier matchup, we'll call them, when we both have an item in the same tier, which is going to be a meatball sub. And the ingredients in that listed are meatballs, marinara sauce, and mozzarella cheese. Delicious staple. I don't often have one. It's kind of a treat yourself meal. A little sloppy. If there's a negative to meatball sub, there's 2 things. Little sloppy. So where are you eating it? It matters. If you don't have a nice sturdy table to sit at where you can put your elbows up and really go to town on this sucker, you're like on a train. It's not the meal for you. The second negative or drawback, not every bite, because of the meat's spread consistency, it's in ball form. It's not in like flat pieces, so it's hard to evenly spread it throughout the sandwich. You will get some bites that are just bread, marinara, and cheese. Those bites still pretty good, but it leaves you craving the meatball a little bit. What say you about the meatball sub?
Meatball sub, S tier. I mean, I love meatballs. You got the double carbs, like the carbs of the meatball itself, and then the bread. Delicious, creamy, melted cheese. It's a hot sub, which, you know, I guess there's pros and cons to hot, but like, so this one's definitely a big pro. Like you,
a lot of my S's are hot, so I'm a fan of the hot sandwich. It looks like.
I'll say also, like, kind of on your point, like, I'm not wearing my Sunday's best while I'm eating a meatball sub. Like, I'm changing first. But easily, like, anytime I go to a pizzeria, this is like a top 3 order for myself.
Right, absolutely. That brings us to my next one in the S tier, which, interestingly enough, meatball sub and this sandwich, which is a pulled pork sandwich, which is pulled pork shoulder, barbecue sauce, and coleslaw. Get rid of the coleslaw on mine, thank you, but it still had enough to get it to the S tier. If we swapped meatball sub and pulled pork around on my list, they would be where you've placed them on your list in the 3-4 column. I just have the opposite order of you. So I'm going to let you speak on the pulled pork sandwich before I dive in with any additives here.
I like the pulled pork. You get a good flavor profile. You get the tanginess from the barbecue usually. Then you got like the acidity that kind of cuts it from the coleslaw. And there's a lot of different things you can do with it. Like, because I think like the sauce of it, like you can go like a sweeter, you can go a more like vinegary, like so you can kind of play around with it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely delicious. Like any summer day, I'll take a pulled pork. Easy S tier for me.
Right, absolutely. Pulled pork brings a little fancy dining, something that's missing from a lot of sandwich culture here. It's like a little bit of fancy dining or like more high level cuisine. It's always like deli meats in a lot of sandwiches, which is just kind of like a big fat piece of meat they just slice and it looks like, rubber or something like that. Whereas like the pulled pork is this nice pork shoulder that they cook so much that it's falling apart and they shred it up and it just there's a little more cuisine to it. Um, that I appreciate. It makes the sandwich like step up a layer. Always love a good barbecue sauce, one of the best condiments, and so that's why I have it up there as well.
Cool.
And that brings me to my final S tier.
What do we got?
This one's a little tough because the ingredients they didn't list in depth. So it's the Italian sub. They've listed the ingredients as cured meats, oil, vinegar, onion, and lettuce. Not an onion and lettuce guy personally, so I'd X-nay those. But cured meats is not very specific. It could be any types of cured meats. So I know most people are thinking you got maybe some pepperoni, maybe some salami, maybe some capricola or whatever the hell goes on there. And all those meats, all the meats that are usually found on Italian sub, are some of my favorite deli meats. And so this is my staple cold sandwich for sure. I noticed all four of my previous sandwiches are warm sandwiches for the most part. And this is the real hitter for me in the cold sandwich department is Italian sub.
Yeah, Italian. Nothing beats a good Italian sub. Like just going to the deli, the bodega, the corner store, whatever.
Absolutely.
You just can't beat a good deli meats, oil, vinegar, a little bit of lettuce. I do the lettuce; it's healthy, no big deal. It was great.
We had one of my favorite Italian sub places. We worked together for MLB in Chelsea Market, and we would visit the Italian place downstairs. I don't remember the name, but if you do,
Capone's. You don't remember Capone's? Oh my goodness, guy!
But Capone's was amazing. You gotta wait a while anywhere in Chelsea Market, but they do a great job down there. So just a little shout out to them for their Italian sandwiches. Do you want to take us through the rest of your S tier?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that I did have, like the pulled pork and the meatball, but then I had two on my list of 4 S tier that you didn't. So first one, the King de la Creme, the lobster roll. You can have it hot, cold. Lobster's just like one of those things where it's like kind of a delicacy, but like, I don't know, it feels like a premium kind of sandwich to me. Love it. Like I talked about, the pulled pork's perfect on a summer day. Nothing beats a summer day, a lobster roll, a lemonade. Third mention of lemonade this episode already, but like, you put all those 3 together. Wow,
if I'm honest,
chef's kiss.
It's a great place for you to mention it. The lobster roll, for those of you who are just listening, the ingredients listed are lobster meat, mayonnaise, and celery, but it does have a picture of a lemon next to it. So the man is not wrong for connecting those dots.
And then also, like, that's, with mayo, that's usually the cold one, and then if you do butter, that's hot. So again, you get that flexibility. Where do you have it?
Is it it's usually in like a hot dog type of roll, correct? Like a long cut
Usually
roll?
it's like a grilled hot dog roll. Like you throw it on the flat iron, a little bit of butter.
Not bad. Not bad. Staple of the Massachusetts, Rhode Island area.
Big New England thing, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw lobster roll on this list as I was putting it into the garbage of trash. And I even told Lindsay, I was like, I think Mario's #1 sandwich is going to be a lobster roll. The man loves his lobster roll.
Big fan.
I said you would like a po' boy, which we'll find out where you put it for those audio listeners a little bit later. But I was like, lobster roll is going to be this man's #1, and I'm glad to see I was right. For me, however, it is my third to last sandwich, one of my least favorite sandwiches. Not a seafood guy, as you can tell by Long John Silver's performance in the bracket. Don't like seafood. So lobster roll, unfortunately, is going in the trash for myself. But I do understand a good lobster roll is many seafood lovers' favorite sandwich. So
delicious.
Not a bad pick.
And then right after that in S tier, we got the French dip, which is usually like a roast beef sandwich served with like the drippings of the meat. Yeah. So it gives you a little dip in action. Love something I can dip.
Love a dippable as well.
Love a dippable, and I mean, like, it just makes that crunchy bread like a little soft and like, packed with the juices. I just like, yeah, you just get all of those flavored juices, and that's what does it for me. That's what brings a French dip to the S. Where'd you have it?
for me, a French dip can be one of the best tasting sandwiches. Um, I'm assuming it's a little known fact, and it may not be a universal thing, but I was in the Coast Guard, stationed in good old Point Judith, Rhode Island, and in our mess hall, we had a ton of French dip week, like days. Every couple of weeks, it would be a French dip for lunch. Sometimes I was like, "This is a delicious sandwich." I've never had one up until that point, and I was like, "This is great." Other times, it's varies. You gotta toast the bread correctly for a French dip. If it gets a little too much toasting on it, it's hard to get through because you want it to soak up the beef chew or whatever it's called that you dip it in. You want it to really soak it up. So if you get too hard a bread, it makes it a tough sandwich to get through. So for me personally, I put it in the high B section. I would love a good one once in a while, but it's not. I'm not always reaching for it just in case I come across a rough one.
Here.
So that's both our S ranks here. For me, that was bacon, egg and cheese, grilled cheese, meatball sub, pulled pork, and Italian sub. For Mario, that was going to be lobster roll, French dip, pulled pork sandwich, and a meatball sub. Seems like if we made our own tiers here, possibly the only two on the S tier would be meatball sub and pulled pork sandwich, which, I think I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Would you like to take us through your A tier?
So we got our A tier. So again, these aren't the best option. Like I'd reach for any S's over these, but these are still primo sandwiches. Absolutely. Number one, fried chicken. Kind of hinted at in the bracket with Chick-fil-A being so high. So
crack open a Guinness for some fried chicken.
There we go. Pour one out. So fried chicken, absolutely delicious. I prefer mine on the spicy side. I get mine no pickles. Usually it has it. I opt out of that trash.
Right. And
Easy
for anyone
to
at home, that is fried chicken breast, lettuce, and tomato in the ingredients listed on this official tier list selection. Just so you're aware.
Yeah. So where's it rank with you?
I think you have it in a great spot. For me, fried chicken is going to be a equal tier with you, a shared tier, as we say in the business. I have it a little lower in A tier. It's my fifth. My list consists of a chunky A tier and a chunky B tier. Your list is a little more bottom heavy. So for me, it's my fifth favorite A tier. But out of a good I don't know, 10 sandwiches. So it's not too bad for me. I usually like it. One of the best sandwiches of all time is as we mentioned before, Chick-fil-A's best menu item, the fried chicken sandwich. You put some Chick-fil-A sauce on there, and you're having yourself a good time. So I think you had a good placement for that one.
Cool. Right after that, we got roast beef. Super simple. It's roast beef, barbecue sauce, bread. It's literally just meat and barbecue sauce. What's not to love? Easy A. Call it Emma Stone. Easy A.
That's a great segue, or a great statement there. But for me, interestingly enough, this is another shared tier, and we were only off by one again. So that's 3 of the 4 shared tiers. We were one off from each other. Roast beef for me is the king of the A's. It's and specifically, I don't really eat roast beef sandwiches that frequently. The thing is, the specific ingredients in this roast beef sandwich are thinly sliced beef, barbecue sauce, or horseradish. And for me, you add barbecue sauce to a roast beef, and I'm in 100%. A regular cold cut roast beef sandwich, that's sitting in B for me. But a barbecue, it's almost a pulled pork sandwich at that point. It's just beef. So like, delicious sandwich. The thin sliced is really key. You get some thick sliced beef, not as good. But for me, the sandwich they depict in this image is top of A tier.
Yeah, agreed. Next up, alluded to it earlier, the Italian sub makes my A. It's great, not excellent, so it's just right there in the A's. Following that, we got the po' boy, which is usually like shrimp, lettuce, in between some bread. Love this. This is like, I don't know, this is a good, it's a fried thing in a sandwich. That's always good. Double carbs.
Right.
And I'm a big seafood guy, so I like my shrimp. So I mean, this is just it's a good sandwich. It's not one I get often. You know, I feel like I don't see it available a lot of places, but when I do, it's a nice surprise.
Right, right. It's po' boys are from what I understand seem to be a mid-Atlantic specialty. They have them up in the Northeast as well, but I believe they originate out of like Maryland or something like that. They're very popular at I think the Baltimore Orioles games in Camden Yards. Po' boys are a selection you have there. For me, that's going to be in the trash. Also, seafood. You're just not making it out. I will say it did fall behind lobster rolls. Lobster meat tastes like nothing. That's why people cover it in sauce or lemon or whatever. So at least the meat is not like this heavy fish taste. You know, shrimp's usually not too much either. You got the fry on there that can kind of balance some of it out. But, you know, it's just a preference to me. I'd rather be eating the lobster. So for me, they're both trash tier right next to each other, best friends.
Love it. Following that, we got the cheesesteak, a Philly staple. It's like shaved steak, either provolone or cheese whiz or American cheese. Sometimes
any sandwich that can add cheese whiz to its ingredients.
It's good on me. And then we got either onions or peppers sometimes. If you want to add some veggies, make it healthy, make it a salad. But it's a Philly staple. It's delicious. I don't know, like just steak in a sandwich, smother it in cheese. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I agree with you almost exactly. I believe it's probably my seventh sandwich in my A tier. For you, it's going to be your fifth, but pretty close in rankings here. A delicious sandwich. I like my onions to be like, what do they call it? Caramelized. And sometimes they do that in cheesesteaks, and sometimes they just do regular onions. I'm more the fan of the caramelized version, but either way, it's still a delicious sandwich. So I think you have a great placement there.
Great. And then the last one of my A tier, talked about it earlier, the bacon, egg, and cheese. Delicious, delicious. Just can't put a breakfast Sammy in S tier.
Yep, the two breakfast sandwiches: grilled cheese and bacon, egg, and cheese.
It's a thing.
The Adamo household, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to bring me over to my A tier, just to go through the rest that we haven't touched on yet. My number 2 in the A tier is going to be a patty melt. This is basically like a grilled cheese with a hamburger in between it. So that's ground beef patty, cheese, caramelized onions. I've already touched on caramelized onions being top tier onions. The order of onions, you got caramelized, then you got what's the onions that are just like the hard, like fried onions or
like a bloomin' onion, like Outback.
No, it's like
onion rings.
No, you put them on top of like a green bean casserole or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the onion strings.
They're a higher tier onion. Bloomin' onions are pretty solid, and onion rings are not bad. And then regular onion slides in there. But anyway, this is basically a hamburger just on like a grilled cheese instead of like a burger bun. For me, that's a step up to a hamburger. I'd like the nice toasty grilled cheese type of bun rather than or breading, I guess, rather than a fat bun that has too much breading in it. So patty melt, chef's kiss. Mario, what are your thoughts on patty melt?
Patty melts were B tier for me. I'm never gonna go out of my way to get one. That's kind of like where the B tier is. It's like I'm not going out of my way, right, but they hold a near place to me. And it's just like, this is like a lazy burger. It's like, you're not a Sloppy Joe, you're not a burger. So it's just like, what are you doing?
Disappointingly absent.
Sloppy Joe is disappointingly absent. That would have been high on my list. But patty melt is not that high, B tier.
Solid B tier. It looks like it's above average for you because of the backloading of your list.
A lot of
it's
trash.
Like slightly above the middle area. So not totally down on it, but not going out of your way.
Yeah, that's the B's. B's are like if a buddy's like, let's go get blank, it's like, sure, I'll come along. I won't fight you. That's my B's.
Absolutely. That's a good choice. I can respect the choice even if I disagree.
Not a competition.
Takes me to, sorry, what was that?
I said not a competition.
I won't respect some of your other choices here. That leads me to my number 3 in my A tier, which is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. El Clasico. This is a great sandwich. You know, it's got a sweetness to it. It's got a saltiness to it. It's just a staple. And the other good thing is it's not a full meal, which is...
Is that a good thing?
Yes, because hear me out. It's like, you come home and you're like, easy to prepare is another thing that goes hand in hand with this. But you come home and you're like, I ate like 2 hours ago, so I don't really want to eat a big thing. But like, I could go for like a little top me off here. And what's quick and easy to do? PB&J. Delicious sandwich. Any parents out there know it's a nice quick sandwich to make for your kids when you're rushing them out the door. It's just a staple of the American food. It's a staple American food, and I appreciate it. So it has appeared as the 3rd favorite on the A list.
Yeah, it's trash for me. PB&J, never was a fan of them growing up.
I
Like,
could never, and I was like, it's in the garbage.
it's in the trash.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
This was just...
You grilled cheeses for breakfast and you never had a PB&J.
I mean, I've had them, just not often. Like, that's something where, again, like, if I go over a buddy's house and they're like, ooh, let's have PB&Js, it's like, ooh, like, I guess I'll just, like, I'd rather eat some dirt. Like, I don't want it the same.
You've never had them? But
I've had them a couple times, but they just never did it for me. Like,
them? You hated them when you had them?
not a big fan. They never did it for me.
They're the 3rd from the
I
bottom.
I tried it with strawberry, with grape. No, like neither. I don't know if there's other jellies that are really good with the peanut butter. I've tried it with crunchy, with smooth. Doesn't do it for me.
Holy shit!
I am never ever reaching for a PB&J. Trash. Put it with Oscar.
Wow. Oscar he'd be happy to get a PB&J in that can.
Yeah, because it's trash.
For my 4th on A tier is going to be a ham and cheese. Ingredients in that being ham, cheese, and lettuce and mustard. I prefer not to have lettuce. If mustard's there, I'd rather it not be. But like, I could get down with a little bit of mustard. It's something I used to hate when I was little, but I've come around on. Ham and cheese is kind of like another staple American like sandwich. Feels like, and I say American, but I don't know if this was invented here or not. But it's just a American lunch meal for children growing up. It's just a simple ham and cheese. I like it. It's good. It's got a little, you can pizzazz it up a little bit, but it's a solid sandwich overall. You pair most deli meats with cheese, it's gonna sit in my A tier where I'm like, that's a good sandwich. But in this case, they only had the ham there, so that's where it's sitting. What about yourself?
It just doesn't do enough for me, the ham and cheese. Like, this is C tier. This is like, it's just kind of bland. It's the most boring deli meat with cheese. And then they're like, here you go. It's just like, you could put in some effort, guy. Like, at least the peanut butter and jelly, you gotta unscrew some stuff.
I will say ham is probably one of the worst deli meats.
Easily.
But it's still, I'd still take it for sure.
Yeah, so let me get this straight. So if I put one of the worst deli meats with some cheese, it's an A tier sandwich? No, not in my book. C. This isn't trash.
Deli meats are almost exclusively good. And ham, I think, is good. I'd rather have salami. I'd rather have bologna. I'd rather have turkey, which both bologna and turkey have appeared below ham and cheese. And the reason they do is because of the cheese. But, deli meats are all like fairly close together, with the exception of I really like bologna and salami. But any deli meat and cheese is an A tier sandwich in my book.
Okay, yeah.
I respect it. It is a boring sandwich, but my tastes are fairly boring. Give me some meat and cheese and I'm good. I don't need lettuce. I don't need tomatoes. I don't need any of this fancy shit. Just give me meat and cheese like a good American.
Okay, what's next?
Next up for me is fried chicken, which we've already discussed. So we'll move on from that one and talk about the Thanksgiving sandwich. It's a tough sandwich. It takes on many forms. A Thanksgiving sandwich, to me, if I was making it myself, and I had Thanksgiving leftovers, and I'm making a sandwich out of it, that's an S tier sandwich. It's going to be delicious.
For sure, for sure.
But the ingredients listed here are turkey, stuffing, and cranberry sauce. Cranberry sauce, you're losing me a little bit on. There's other stuff I want in this sandwich that isn't listed here. I think nowadays the green bean casserole has become like such a staple. I think instead of having like onion ring on top of your sandwich or a burger, you get some green bean casserole with the crispy onions on there. That could be a good like spread over the top of a sandwich. So I think they're missing some things from the one pictured here. So for me, it fell to the mid A category based off that. But I still think it's a very solid sandwich.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving, and this is tricky because I love Thanksgiving. It's favorite holiday, but
no breakfast foods.
No breakfast food, but something about it doesn't, like you said, if I'm making my own with the leftovers, that just slaps different. But I've never gone to a deli, to a diner, and gotten a Thanksgiving sandwich. And I think that's just because, like, it doesn't do it for me. You know, like, if I'm grabbing a sandwich, like, I just rather more traditional cold cut. So
it needs to be homemade for me to really pop. And a good thing you brought up, or you didn't bring it up, I should say, but you edged on, which made me think of it, was that like the Thanksgiving foods are delicious, but there is like a little bit of like adding bread to it, maybe like a little bit of an overdose on like carbs and stuff like that. So
for sure,
it's almost better to just have the leftovers on their own. But I do think your opinion is right. I would never want to order one from a deli. I'm thinking more of a homemade treat here.
Yeah, I guess this one, like, in my mind, I'm never ordering this one. I'm out. So I put this in the C. It's high C, but it's a C for me.
That's fair. That's fair.
What's next?
Next, we have the cheesecake, which we've already discussed. A great sandwich in both of our A tiers. Next, we come across the first sandwich that I've never had. And there's a few of them in here. This is called the Kentucky Hot Brown. It's turkey, bacon, tomato, and some type of sauce, which I can't read this far zoomed out. I'm not sure if you got a better eye on it on your side. But it's like, it looks like almost like a hollandaise sauce. It's like a yellowy, yolky, or cheesy looking sauce with bacon and turkey on an open face piece of bread. Some tomatoes, I'd toss them to the side. They look like they're easily removable. But it looks like a pretty tasty treat to me. It depends if that's like a nice creamy sauce. It could make a difference. That's why, like, if that sauce is delicious, this could be a much higher sandwich for me. But I kind of tended towards the low side just to kind of just hedge my bets in case the sauce would be something I didn't like. And so I put it towards the end here. The last three of my A tier, including this one, are all sandwiches which I've not had before, but sounded...
But still made it to the A's, which is very high for something you never had.
Right, because the B's to me are like boring. I wouldn't want this like necessarily, but I'd eat it. These are sandwiches where I read the descriptions and I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty good. So that's kind of how I did it. Have you ever had a Kentucky Hot Brown?
I haven't, and I never had it, but I just slammed this in the trash. Like, I'm looking at it. What is it? Bacon, tomato, some weird sauce. It looks like it's open-faced, like it's a piece of toast.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know. I never had this. It doesn't look appealing to me. Like, if I ever went to Kentucky, I'd try one, because when in Rome, but
to me, it feels like a... Yes, I can see how you would think that. There's a certain... for those of you at home who may not know Mario as well, when he said this was in trash, my first thought was, just looking at this thing, Mario's confused by it. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't want to mess with it.
It's a confusing sandwich.
Looks like Professor X made that sandwich, so he's putting it in his trash. But I noticed you have it at the highest of your trash, which I hope means, like, it looks like trash, but I've never had it, so, like, maybe it's not trash.
I put it in the highest of my trash because, like I said, like, if I go to Kentucky, I will try one for the sake of trying one.
Take it for the team. So that brings me to my next one, which is a croquet madame, maybe? I want to say croque madame?
Yes.
Have you had one of these before?
I have. And it was pretty good.
Okay, good to know. It's a ham, It looks like there may be a sauce name there, then Gruyere cheese, Dijon mustard, and fried egg inside of it. Um, to me, sounds pretty good. It's like a ham, a sauce, a cheese, mustard, and fried egg is what I'm getting from it. Like looking at the picture, looks like a sandwich someone just dropped the fried egg on. I'm like, I could get down with that. As a breakfast fan myself, I'm like, that looks like a nice sandwich. Maybe soak the yolk into the bread a little bit, and we're rocking with something
Ooh.
like that. Always delicious. Um, Again, never had, but it looks like something I might like.
Yeah, I have had it before. It's a good brunch breakfast sandwich. Um,
Is it
like I
at a
said,
lot of brunch joints?
that's where I had it. Was like at a brunch place. I can't say I've seen it at every brunch place, but like I've seen it before. I tried it. It appealed to me. It was pretty
It
good.
looks like it has a brother sandwich in the Croque Monsieur down in my sea. But it seems like a similar type of sandwich, so maybe there's just a slight difference between those.
Oh, could be, could be. Either way, this was pretty good. Like, I made it to my B is. It's not. I'm not jumping through hoops for it. So that's. I mean, it has a fried egg. I like a fried egg, but
Right.
overall, B tier.
Pretty standard for you.
B tier.
That makes sense to me. And the last one is a tonkatsu, which is, I assume, a Japanese sandwich. We have like katsu chicken when we have go-go curry, a delicious fried chicken. This is going to be a fried pork chop, which I just had a Japanese curry, speaking of which, yesterday. Delicious. And I got pork from the place. And I got chicken as well. And it wasn't fried pork, but it was pork. Tasted delicious. So in my head, I'm like, you fry that up, put that between some bread here. You got some mayo, and then I love tonkatsu sauce. It's pretty good. So this sandwich seems like something I'd be like, yeah, this is good. But I don't think I'd be crazy about it, but I think I'd like it more than a B tier.
Yeah, this one. What did I have? This one. I have the C. Never had it. Seems appealing. It's like some weird. Those at home. It's like. It looks like 4 slices of bread. With like.
It does. I just assumed that was 2 halves next to each other, kind of like the Monte Cristo looks.
Ooh, okay. So
That's
I
what I
didn't.
assumed.
So it just kind of tripped me up. It sounds good, but I never had it, and I don't want to give any. I don't want to give something I never had too much credit. So
Sure.
middle of the
But
road
it
C
looks
for me.
kind of boring, based off the picture here. It's like literally like a flat rectangle of bread, a rectangle of fried pork. You put mayo and tonkatsu sauce on there, and then you put another flat piece of bread on it. There's
Very bland.
A lot of
Very
people
bland
like
looking.
lettuce. And so for most people, it would seem like a boring sandwich, probably to me. But for me, I'm down with it. So that's going to wrap up my A tier. I'm just going to go back here for those listening at home. Mario's A tier was fried chicken, roast beef, Italian sub, po' boy, cheesesteak, and bacon, egg, and cheese. With my A tier being roast beef, patty melt, PB&J, ham and cheese, fried chicken, a Thanksgiving sandwich, cheesesteak, Kentucky hot brown, croque madame, and tonkatsu. So Mario, I would love it. Actually, I guess I should. I'm gonna let you take the B tier actually, because I feel like
Yeah.
I
Let
have
me.
a lot of extra A tiers than you. So I'd rather you take the mic here and take us on a
Yeah.
journey.
Let me drive the B's. So here we go. Buckle up, everybody. So first B, banh mi. It's like a Vietnamese sandwich, so it's got like some pickled veggies. You can get it with like some pork. I would get it mine with like some ginger sauce on it. Really good, like different taste of flavor compared to a lot of these just like
Sure.
cold cut sandwiches.
No, that makes sense.
So delicious, but just a couple things holding it back. Like I don't know, like I gotta be in the mood for. Any sandwich in A or S, it's like any given day I could have one of these. But just because its flavor profile is just so different from other sandwiches, I gotta be in the mood for it. High B for me.
And you said this was a Vietnamese sandwich?
Yeah, that's what I think
Did
of.
you ever get one while we were in Chelsea Market from that place?
There was a place, the Chan store in Chelsea Market that would have them. They're good there if you've come across them. I used to go to a food truck out in Boston that would have a really good banh mi. So like I said, like you can go out of your way to get one of these, but I really got to be in the mood for it. So that's what stopped it from being an A. But otherwise, it's like right on that cusp for me.
Yeah, for me, I've never had it before. I've got two questionables about it.
Okay.
Cilantro and mayo, both sound fine. You overdo cilantro, I'm not into it as much, but you know, I took those as fines. Then I came across pickled vegetables. I don't like pickled anything usually. The vinegar, like I don't know if it's vinegar, but like that kind of sour taste that pickled vegetables have, it's not really my preference. And then I was like, all right, so like what's in it for me is like the meat. And then I read it and it's just meat. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, could be
That's
anything.
it though. Yeah, but that's the magic of it.
Well, I'm sure like on the menu items, they're like, is a beef or it's a pork or whatever. But for me, you know, the main part of the sandwich that I'm looking for is a question mark. It could be anything. You know, it could be venison. I don't know. I don't know what the hell.
But that's the magic of it.
Yeah. So for me, the magic was broken, and I dropped it in the top of trash, which is like I'd try it potentially. You know, with some alterations to fit my palate a little bit more. And I'm sure I could like it with the right tweaks. But so that's why it's at the top of the trash. But it's still in the trash for me, sadly.
Sadly. Okay.
Yeah, I you know, apologies to fine Vietnamese cuisine, but this
Yeah.
just isn't the meal for me.
It's 2021, Brady. You gotta open your eyes and your mind
Yeah,
and your
hit me
stomach.
with, I don't know, noodles or rice or something, and I'm down. Like the sandwich is just not gonna do it.
Next up, we got bologna. Bologna, mustard. It doesn't list cheese in this tier list, but I add cheese to my bologna. And even the image that they use in this tier list appears to have cheese. So, total
So, for
mismanagement.
For me, I did it based off what the ingredients said.
Okay.
So, like I said before, ham and cheese is only up there because of the cheese, and bologna is in B tier, even though I like the meat better. Or quotes around the word meat, I guess. But even though I like bologna better than ham, it just says bologna and mustard and is on like wheat bread, and I'm just like, that's a weak looking. Like I'm looking at those two sandwiches, and you tell me which one, the ham and cheese or bologna, you'd reach for. And it's tough. I like bologna better, but like those are tough sandwiches to like choose from with that.
These
nice
these pictures, yeah. Also, the ham and cheese got lettuce on it in the picture, but not in the word. So
and
it's
a
all
big fat Kaiser looking roll. Oh, that looks much better than the bologna for me. And because I made the decision to decide based off of listed ingredients, especially for sandwiches I didn't know, I had to put bologna basically exactly where you put it. As well in B tier. Personally, just before you get into like the cheese debate, when I did my list, I was going based off ingredients listed. So if it has cheese on it, I think it's a much stronger case. But I digress. You tell the people about the fine bologna.
So bologna. Kind of what you were saying about PB and J. Like bologna was like the staple of my childhood. That's what I probably had the most of back then.
Sure.
Delicious, but nowadays, kind of what I mentioned earlier. Am I going to a place and ordering a bologna sandwich? Rarely, once in a blue moon, maybe more for nostalgia than anything. But it's always near in my heart, so very high B for me.
So a little bit of a nostalgia pick. I, on the other hand, do order bologna at the deli sometimes. I get bologna and American. I like to get salami and mozzarella cheese. Those are like my big cold cut sandwich choices.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of bologna, but like I said, it's right next to your bologna at the top of B for lack of ingredients listed, I guess.
Fair. What do we got next? We got the patty melt. Talked about that a little bit earlier, so I won't get into it. Next we got the Monte Cristo. The Monte Cristo. Do you want to describe a Monte Cristo for the people at home?
Yeah, for those of you at home, it's ham, turkey, Swiss cheese, fried and served with jam.
So this, another one that I've had like just at a random brunch place. It wasn't served with jam though, so it seems like I
was about
robbed.
to say the same thing. I've never had it with jam.
So, but it's good. Like to me, another great brunch food. But because it's like a brunch exclusive, I couldn't put it any higher. B tier for me. Tasty though.
Mario,
Find a brunch place for one of these.
we have our first same tier, same position.
Oh my god.
Monte Cristo, both of us B tier number 4. For me, you got ham, turkey, and cheese. Swiss cheese is a little bit of a lesser cheese for me, unless
Agreed.
it's baby Swiss. Baby Swiss is one of the best cheese. Regular Swiss, solid cheese. So the Monte Cristo with just those 3 ingredients, it's a delicious sandwich. Again, went off ingredients here. I've never had it with jam.
Never had with jam.
Elevate it to the fucking sky, or get into a sewer. I just don't know, so I went with a safe B tier for this.
I dig it. I dig it. Like I said, like delicious, but it's like a brunch exclusive sandwich, and I can't put that too high. Following that, we got a croque madame. Talked about that a little bit earlier, but solid B for me. You know, it's another brunch Sammy.
Yep.
Following that, we got a gyro, which used to have these a ton when I lived in New York. Had a Greek place right down the street. You know, it's delicious. It's delicious, but gotta be in the mood for it. That summarizes my B or tier sandwiches. It's like these are delicious when I want them, but otherwise miss me with that shit.
You know what? That's fair. For me, it was top of C tier. It says grilled meat, and from my understanding, I thought it was usually lamb. I'm not sure if that's a staple of it, or if it's usually different meats, and I just didn't catch on to that. For those of you at home, it's a grilled meat, tomato, onion, and then the last word there I can't read, but I believe it's the white like yogurty sauce they like. Kind of put on.
I can't pronounce that, but it's good.
I can't read it, or I would attempt to pronounce it awfully. For me, I like lamb. It's pretty good. I like the meat, but then I dislike everything else on there. I'm not tomatoes, onions, lettuce kind of guy, and those things are on there, or at least tomatoes and onions based off description, based off picture. Who knows?
No lettuce.
I also really with my sandwich, I'm looking for meat and a cheese on most of them here, and it doesn't have cheese on it.
No
Which
cheese.
brings it down for me. Goat cheese, not a listed ingredient. Also, not a fan of any crumbly cheese like goat cheese, feta.
Yeah, no cheese on the gyro. I'll also say sometimes they put fries on them, which I'm a fan of too.
You know what? That seems all right. It gets me a little like carb overloady with the actual. Is that a pita bread they put it on, or I'm not even sure what that is.
I don't know what you call that.
That's my lack of Greek culture, but yeah. So I think I'd have it once in a while. Like I've had it from the street carts in the city before. It's not my ideal lunch break though. I'll tell you that much.
Fair. So B tier for me. Next we got a croque monsieur. Brady, what's in a croque monsieur? I can't read my picture. It's too small.
Croque monsieur is a little cut off here in this picture, but it's ham. It looks like the same kind of sauce in a croque madame, Gruyere cheese, and then the bottom part is cut off. Looks very similar to a croque madame. It looks like it's missing the fried egg.
It also looks like smothered, kind of like a smothered burrito.
Yeah, what's that? Enchilada, maybe? What they call it?
Enchilada, okay.
I don't know which one is the smothered, Mexican food, but it does remind me of. It's gonna similar to the meatball sub. I think you got to be careful where you're eating this thing.
You gotta plan ahead.
Mm-hmm. Do you have more to? Did you want to say more about it, or should I go into where?
This is a B for me. It's a brunch thing, but it's like the lessest of all of the brunch sandwiches. I appreciate that it's smothered because, like I said, it reminds me of like smothered burrito or enchilada or what have you. That's all I got. Simple.
Hollandaise type of sauces on the croque madame when you had it. Like a creamy, like yolky, like type of.
Yeah, I think it's like a bichel sauce, Bichamel.
Yeah, that seems like what it has here, but I've never had that before. But I've had hollandaise sauce, which kind of looks like it to me. So I wonder if I'd like that.
Bet you would.
That's an interesting choice here. For me, the croque monsieur is top of C, second right after the gyro. Seems like a good sandwich, but really the fried egg is like what put the croque madame in like the A tier for me. When you miss that egg, it's a smothered sandwich. It could be good still, but then we're getting into like, do I like the sauce even more? Because there's no like egg to add anything to it, so it's like I better like the sauce.
Yeah.
So, for me, I tried to play it a little safe. Could have been a B for me, because ham as the main meat is fine for me, but I put it top of C instead.
All right, what else we got? And then my last B we touched on already. Grilled cheese. It's a breakfast food. It's fine.
That is the weirdest take you've had on this show. If anyone else who ever listens to this podcast has ever had grilled cheese as a breakfast food, even once, I'll allow once.
It's the only way to have it.
Please let me know. Please let me know. Because maybe it's a personal choice. Me and Mario used to work with a guy who would always get a jelly and cream cheese bagel.
Oh my
which
goodness!
I've heard of before. It's tasty, but I went to get bagels with him one time, and I ordered a plain bagel with cream cheese, toasted with cream cheese, and he was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Nobody gets that," and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure everybody gets that. That's the most ordered bagel." And he's like, "No, I've never heard of that in my life." And I asked the lady working at the bagel place, she's like, "Yeah, that's the most common thing people order." But this guy had never heard of a bagel with cream cheese before. He thought it always came with jelly because of how he was raised. So maybe I just never knew that grilled cheese was a breakfast food, or maybe Mario's family is full of animals. But anyway, we'll find that out soon. I'm gonna go through the rest of my B's here, touch on anything we haven't touched on yet. So I got bologna in there. As you said, I already gave my description on that. We have at very similar places. My French dip, which you had in the S tier, is down here. Then I'm going to go over, and I'm not sure we talked about this one yet, and we have not. That's going to be a turkey club here for me.
Ooh.
Turkey club. I don't know the specifics of a turkey club. It says turkey, lettuce, tomato, bacon, mayo. So, as I said before, I'm not a lettuce, tomato, bacon. I like bacon, but I'm not a lettuce and tomato fan, or onions if they're involved. To me, the sandwich pictured has a lot of turkey and maybe the cheese on the top, then a middle piece of bread, separating it from all the vegetables on the bottom half of the sandwich. What I see is like, just take the top half of the sandwich and make it turkey and cheese and bacon, and that's what I want. So like, I'm not sure if a turkey club requires this middle piece of bread and all this stuff to officially be a club. So that's why it's kind of in my B tier. If you get turkey, cheese, and bacon and put it on a sandwich for me, that's an A or maybe even bottom of S tier type of sandwich. But as it's written here and pictured here, I can't fully commit to it. They don't even list the cheese. So for me, it's just kind of a standard sandwich, similar to a bologna sandwich.
For me, I put this in my trash because
I was surprised by this.
I've never been a member of the club, so I've never been able to order one.
Didn't get your green jacket, so you couldn't take. So you've never had one before.
I've never had one. I've never been a member of any club.
Nothing interests you about this.
I mean,
that's believable. 100% believable. You have not been invited to a club, but it is hard to believe you have not had a turkey club. Have you had turkey sandwiches before?
Yeah, turkey sandwiches for sure. Fine. Like I said, it's just. For some reason, you have to have like a membership card to add just a third slice of bread in between your sandwich, and I've never had the privilege.
Well, the rich get richer. Moving on to our next one here, we got the Monte Cristo, which kind of talking about it with you makes me want to move it up a little higher, even though we put it at the exact same spot.
Yeah, that was the perfect one. So that one, I mean, you gotta...
I can't move it. I can't move it, obviously. These lists are final. These pieces are not movable here. But ham, turkey, and melted cheese is solid. Add jam to it, I probably will still like it. So maybe I have it a little low here. But we have talked about that. So I'm going to move on to the next one, which is a Cubano. Which, let me just read this here, is ham, pork, Swiss cheese. So very similar to the Monte Cristo, which has ham, turkey, and Swiss cheese. And then also add on top of that pickles and mustard. It looks like there's onions on that thing in the picture. The pictures don't always match the descriptions here. But for me, that sounds like two meats I like. A cheese I'm okay with. Not a big pickles guy. Mustard is solid. Sounds like a solid sandwich to me. It looks a little like panini press style. I'm not sure if that's definitely what happens here or it's just a pretty flat bread. But it sounds like a solid sandwich. Never had it before, never ordered it. But if I was given it, I'd probably be content with it.
Yeah, this was in my bottom C tier. Bottom C tier, and that's because as much as I love ham and pork, and Swiss is fine, when I think of a Cuban, like pickles are such an integral part of it, and so like I hate pickles. And
So
so
you like pickled vegetables?
pickled vegetables, like I gotta be in the mood for. You know, like I said, like the banh mi, like if I'm not feeling it, like the other day I had ramen with like some pickled mushrooms in it. It was pretty good, you know. But I can't take the pickles out of a Cuban. I feel like I'm just changing the heart of the sandwich. So low C for me, like just outside of trash.
Gotcha. My next one, we got a few more here at my end of my B's. I'm noticing that we haven't touched on yet, which is interesting. The Italian beef sandwich, roast beef, green peppers. I want to say it's gianniera, but I can't really make out the word that I'm looking at here. It's probably going to be like, it says like mushrooms, idiot, or something easy, and I'm just like over pronouncing. It's like Italiano. But for me, this is like a roast beef sandwich with peppers, kind of like like a sausage and peppers. I'm thinking in my head, like the same kind of consistency, but swapping out roast beef with the sausage and putting it on a sandwich. Sounds pretty okay to me. Never had it before. Not huge pepper guy. I think peppers are pretty solid, but I'm not necessarily looking for them all the time. So this one's kind of a mid-tier B for me.
This one was a C for me. Even less than like I gotta be in the mood for it. Like if I go somewhere and it's there, it's fine. It's just, I don't know. To me, it feels like the lesser cheesesteak. You know, it just feels like you took out all of the thrill out of a cheesesteak. It just doesn't do it for me.
Basically,
the cheese whiz is a big part of the cheesesteak. It's the make or break. And like not enough sandwiches utilize cheese whiz. That's a whole nother thing.
We don't want to get into that now.
Oh my
I'm with you on that one.
What's next?
Yeah, I'm surprised by your choice here. I thought you maybe would like the Italian beef a little bit more.
Yeah, it just I don't want to overcrowd my upper tiers.
Yeah, yep. The next up is the torta, which is steak, beans, lettuce, tomato, avocado, and something else that I can't read. I can't read that, so I'm just gonna move on with it. It's in what looks like a roll that slid into to just slide meats into, almost like a meat.
Looks like a burger bun or like a meat pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, something interesting with it. The layers though look very great on it. I like steak a lot. I like beans. I like avocado. Not a big lettuce tomato guy. And then it's pretty standard to me. I don't know what the last ingredient is, so God help me. But like, I don't know. It seems pretty standard to me. I probably like it, but seems all right. Nothing crazy though. I'll tell you that.
Didn't do too much for me. Threw this in my trash. I never had this, and
it didn't. When you say it didn't do too much, it's the last food on your list.
This I never had it before, and I know earlier, like you were talking, it's like I've never had a Kentucky Hot Brown, A tier. It's like miss me with that. Like I've never had you. Like I run a tight ship around here. You have to earn your spot. No spot is given. Trash.
See, like normally, I would like things I didn't have before. I'd like to not rate. But when they describe the sandwiches with all the ingredients, I feel like I could give a more accurate I've never had a Kentucky Hot Brown, but you put turkey, bacon, tomato, and whatever that sauce is, I think I'm gonna like it. But there are more guesses. I just didn't want to put everything in trash here.
That's fair. That's fair.
My next up is a Reuben, corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, Russian dressing, and I believe isn't it usually on rye or pumpernickel or something?
Pumpernickel.
Not my favorite bread type. It's fine. Corned beef is really good. I like it. I'm Irish, so I have to. It comes with the territory. You'll notice something about my mid-tier. It's like, it's either sandwiches that don't have any cheese or sandwiches that chose Swiss cheese as their cheese. And so this is another one.
Swiss is just used a lot.
Right. And it's fine. you know, it's fine for me. So a Reuben to me is fine. It's got a good meat, a solid cheese, not a sauerkraut guy. That's almost the worst part of it. Russian dressing is fine. But for me, it's gonna be a mid tier, like these similar ones here.
Yeah, for me, low C. The big saving grace is that Ruben was always my favorite American Idol winner, and I always appreciated.
Better. American legend.
I always appreciated he got his own sandwich compared to the rest of the winners.
Right, for sure.
But
Well,
yeah.
there is the Clay Aiken. That's a whole nother ball game. You don't want to get into that one. There's
That's
some
right.
elite meats in it. I think chimpanzee meats in it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So that's for a whole nother. That's about fighting animals. Like, where does that one lie? So, so this one didn't do much for me. Low C. Big fan of the singer songwriter. So that's what kept it out of trash.
All right. These next two sandwiches are the same for me. So I am going to talk about both of them before handing over the mic here. They are the Bocadillo and the Jambon Beurre, which could also be pronounced Ambon Beurre. I'm not sure. That's a French sandwich. Bocadillo, I believe, is a Spanish sandwich. The primary ingredient in both, I believe, is ham. So you have French ham for the Jambon Beurre and salted butter. Very basic. Sounds pretty good, though. And then in the other one, which I can't, the Bocadillo, I can't really read it very well here, but it's a very similar word to jambon, but it's hamon, I believe. And I looked it up, and it seems to be a ham as well. So I think they can come from similar root words, with the languages being pretty similar, Spanish and French.
Ooh.
And so I'm sure they both mean ham, but, you know, just slight differences. And then it has some other shit on it, which I can't read right now. I believe the bread is rubbed with tomato or something like that. Not sure. But they both seem like ham sandwiches, so I was like, it's fine. It's like, it probably, like, they could be in C tier. Something about the one with the ham and salted butter, it sounds gross and also, like, really good. So I'm not sure about those two. I kind of just see them at the bottom of the average here.
Yeah,
But very similar to me, the sandwiches.
you know, truthfully, I never had either. So again, nothing's given, everything's earned. That being said, so Bocadillo never had you trash. The ham and butter sandwich. So I've never had a jamboree Sevrier, but
Nope, that's it.
but I have like
Sevrier is the last word, even though it starts with a B.
so. I have had like a cold cut and butter sandwich before. Like I had a ham and butter sandwich, and it was pretty good. So, yeah, although it was on like a triangle, it was like white bread cut into triangles versus this like hero sub roll. So
Right, I've had buttered rolls before, solid, but so I assume this is as well.
yeah, so I'm sure it's solid. So this made it to the average for me. This made it to a C. But yeah, that first one, the Bocadillo, never had you. Nothing's given, everything's earned. Trash.
Right, gotcha. So that's going to bring us to our C columns here. We've got a few sandwiches left, but a lot of our sandwiches we've already talked about, so we should be able to push through these a little quicker here. Mario, you want to take us through the C column?
C column. Thanksgiving, we already talked about. Chicken salad. I enjoy a chicken salad on a bagel for a breakfast. This is more of like the lunch kind of chicken salad by appearance and words. So it gets bumped in.
I have a chicken, chopped chicken, mayo, and celery.
Yeah. The picture is on like white bread with some lettuce. I prefer mine on an everything bagel toasted, no lettuce. But I've also had like bad chicken salad. Like I've had really good chicken salad, and I've had kind of meh chicken salad. And I got to be in the mood for it. So all those factors bring it to a C.
I also have put it in C. It was borderline going to D though. My final three on C are all sandwiches that like I kind of don't ever want to eat, but I've enjoyed at least one of them in the past, so I just left it on bottom of C. And chicken salad is my last C tier.
Fair. Next that, we got bagel with lox. So, bagel, with
Very surprised on your choice for this one.
yeah.
I thought you'd like it more.
You know, it's the same kind of thing where if I go to a bagel place, I'm almost never getting this. I'm either getting like maybe like a bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel, or just cream cheese, or the chicken salad. So I got like this. I really gotta be in the mood for, like even more so than the others.
Right.
So that's what kind of bumps it to a C. Nothing sexy, nothing flashy. Like this is just pure average.
Right. For people just listening who can't see the picture or read the description, I don't even know if anybody will be able to read these descriptions when you're.
We can't read them.
A bagel with lox is a bagel with cream cheese, and then they put smoked salmon on top of it. Sometimes there's onion, tomato, or whatever on top of that as well. But it's I feel like it's a New York is probably the most popular spot that has bagels with lox. So for us, it seems like something that everybody knows, but some of you might not know it. That is what it is.
Yeah, well said, well said.
Yeah, but
where'd you put it?
I hate it. I put it in here. It's it's another seafood thing. I don't like seafood, but hear me out. Bagel with lox. You take off the lox, it's just a cream cheese bagel. So it is the top of my trash tier. But I'm like in the trash can picking up the bagel with lox and taking stuff off of it. That's how close I am to never eating it.
Damn. What do we got next? Italian beef, talked about. Then we got a Tormatuzzo, already talked about.
Tonkatsu. For the man who knew how to pronounce croque madame, like these other ones. And then banh mi, you're like, oh, these other ones though.
Shoot. So what do we got next? Ham and cheese. We already talked about it, but just to reiterate, like this is like the boringest cold cut sandwich there is.
Sure.
And actually all of
boring for me makes it average.
Oh, I mean C's average to me.
Yeah, I think we had our tiers. Like for me, average was B. C is like I don't really want this, and D is like I won't eat. But for me, that's how I was doing them. A is like I like this, and S is like these are god tier.
And then just the last of my C's we've already talked about. We had the ham with butter, we had a Reuben, and we had the Cubano. So,
okay.
All those are C's for me.
Gotcha. Makes sense. For me, my C tier, we've talked about a lot of them here. I'm going to bring up the first one we haven't talked about, which is a falafel pita, which is falafel, lettuce, tomato, onion, cucumber, and hummus. A common New York street meat, I would say, or street cart serves these a lot. I still to this day don't know what falafel is. Like I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's made of hummus or soy or something like that, and it's not a real meat. I don't know if it's like some sort of lamb thing. I'm not sure what it is. It usually tastes good, but everything else in this I don't want, which is lettuce, tomato, onion, cucumbers are okay, but like hummus I'm not a big fan of. It's kind of like neutral, but I'd rather not have it. So like the falafel is not doing too much for me, but like I think it can taste good sometimes. So like that's why it makes it in my C tier. I don't really want it, but like if I had to, I'd be like, okay, it's whatever.
Oh,
what do you think?
I mean, you just described what I'd call trash. It's like I don't know if I want it. I don't like half the things on it.
If it's in trash, I do know if I want it, and the answer is no.
I'm almost never reaching for it.
I thought for the and I'm not sure most people my pronunciation here gyro, gyro. I'm not sure the exact correct way to pronounce that, but I thought that and falafel would be higher for you as a New York citizen who loves a good street meat. I thought maybe you would like those.
I do like a good gyro, but gyro I think. The thing that holds it would be an A, but I have to be in the mood for it. So that's what holds it back. And then falafel, I'm straight up never in the mood for it. Like,
interesting. Would have never guessed.
Yeah, the more you know. What's next?
Next up is going to be the caprese, which is going to be like a panini pressed sandwich that has mozzarella, tomato, basil, and olive oil in it. For me, love mozzarella cheese. It's probably my favorite cheese.
I like it. American, provolone, all top tiers. Um, it's just like a grilled cheese that went wrong though, to me. It's like they threw like extra in there, smushed it, and I was like, I could get through one, but like the juice, you know what it is like. If you squeezed all the juice out of the tomato, which for most people is like the best part, and then put it in there, I'm more down for it. But when you bite into like it and it's like all tomato juicy, like that's what
Miss
I
me
want
with
it to
that.
be cheese juicy, not tomato juicy.
See, this is another thing. Like, I'm not crazy about tomatoes. The sandwich is half tomatoes.
Right.
Trash.
I have a opinion you're probably not gonna like the next one I have either, which is BLT, 1/3 tomato, bacon, lettuce, tomato, and apparently mayo is common on here according to the ingredients. I like bacon. The rest of the sandwich I'm not that into, but like I could eat it. I wouldn't be like I'm mad about eating it, but I would not like it as much as a lot of the things on this list.
Trash. That easy.
Start yelling trash.
Trash. Like, I'm not a big tomato guy. Bacon and the bacon and lettuce, like, that's not enough to just save the sandwich. Again, like, I can't take the pickles out of a Cuban. I can't take the tea out of a BLT.
Right. It's
Trash.
an empty sandwich if you make any alterations to it. So it is tough. And a caprese, you take out the tomato. It's like, could you just put mozzarella cheese?
This is
in
just
there?
mozzarella and vinegar, which is
Mozzarella.
delicious.
Next up for me, I have two more new ones here. The tuna melt, which is tuna salad with cheese. I don't like fish, but the only fish, and this is kind of a nostalgia pick, similar to your what was the one you said you
Bologna.
had? Kid bologna sandwich, I believe.
Bologna.
Right. Similar to that, I had tuna a lot as a kid. On Fridays with like Lent stuff or whatever, or like fish sticks or tuna. Like those were the two that I had to eat as a kid and like got them down. And tuna's always been like okay with me, but like I still feel weird eating it. Like it still grosses me out a little bit. But you smother that with cheese, which a tuna melt is like heavy on the cheese, at least in my opinion. And I'm like, I could get through that sandwich and be okay with it, and I might even enjoy it, depending on how much cheese is on there. So that's why I put that one third from last in my C column.
Trash. I could do tuna salad sometimes on a bagel, but
Yeah, I'm surprised by this too. I thought you liked tuna.
I do like tuna, but I don't like tuna and cheese. Now, like
This man's out of
like
his-
you're out here saying cheese is a great thing, and it is 9
Cheese
out
is
of
the
10
greatest
times.
thing.
Cheese is an amazing thing, but there's just like I don't want cheese and fish. That's weird to me.
You know what? Like, I get that. The thing that helps me is because I don't want the fish. So the more you smother it in cheese, like probably the better for me. So like, you know what? Your description makes sense. There's not a lot of fish items that come cheesed, so it makes sense. Most people who like fish don't seem to like cheese either.
What's next?
Next up and final for me in the C tier, I do have chicken salad in the C tier, but we've already discussed it. Chicken salad, gyro, and the croque monsieur I have in here, but those are all things we've talked about. So the last one for me is going to be the egg salad sandwich. Chopped boiled eggs, that just grossed me out a little bit. Mayonnaise and lettuce. Not my. I like eggs a lot, but like this preparation method is not my favorite. But like I'd be okay eating it. I'd be like, this is not what I wanted. Like, but I would still be able to get it down. Unlike what I put in the trash tier, which is a little rougher for me.
Trash. Out of all of the salads, tuna, chicken, egg is the worst. Like I would never get this on a bagel. I'd get the others on a bagel, no problem. I'd never get egg.
You're very strong. These salads belong on bagels and not on sandwiches. I feel like that's where you're leaning with all
That
the
is a
salads.
big thing. I'd never get like a blank salad sandwich for lunch.
I feel like I like salad sandwiches rather than a bagel
Doesn't do it.
because
for me.
they fall apart a little bit more than other stuff you put on bagels, and the hole in the middle just seems like problems. So that's my
You got to plan for it. You know, like I'm not eating it on the go in the subway. Like it's
Right.
like I'm sitting down, I got a plate, I got some OJ, I'm enjoying this breakfast.
And there's positives too, like the bread integrity of a bagel. It's very strong. Whereas like the egg salad sandwich on bread, sometimes that should be falling apart if it's not toasted.
Exactly. I don't want that.
I got you.
Easy trash.
Um,
Which brings us to
brings us to the garbage pile D tier. Um, so do you want to take over here and go through the rest of? Well, actually, let me go through the C's for the listeners again. This is going to be thanks for Mario. It's Thanksgiving sandwich, chicken salad, bagel with lox, Italian beef, tonkatsu, ham and cheese. I believe this is jambon, puree, Reuben, and Cubano. Had to zoom in for that one a little bit. For me and my C tier, we got a gyro, croque monsieur, falafel pita, caprese, BLT, tuna melt, egg salad, and chicken salad. And which will take us into our trash tiers. Mario, take us through. I know we've done a lot of these. Probably just a few sandwiches left here.
we've done a ton of these. So let's see what we both agree is trash. Veggie and hummus is the first one we both got in trash.
Yeah.
I'm not none of these doing anything for me.
For listeners at home, that is a cucumber, tomato, avocado, carrot, sprouts, and hummus. And I believe it looks like it's on wheat or white bread. From my
Probably something healthy like a wheat or white.
yeah.
Like a wheat, not a white.
Yeah, probably missed the mark on that one. Maybe some whole grain. Who knows? Yeah, nothing appetizing for me as well. You put a slice of cheese on that, and maybe it's a little better. But for the most part, this is just like a salad with bread around it. I'm okay.
Trash.
Okay, so.
Next, liverwurst. Liverwurst is probably my least favorite deli meat. What do we got on that? Liverwurst, mustard, onions on. What's that last thing? Potato?
Mustard, onions, cucumber pickles. It looks like.
Wild. Get that, like, miss me with just all of this. Easy
Right.
trash.
Liverwurst sucks. My mom used to like it when we were younger, and I tried it, and I was like, it's like almost a paste more than when you buy it, it's in like a little. You don't squeeze it out of the pouch, but it's kind of in like a squeeze pouch that you like cut it out of.
I don't want my meat coming in squeeze pouches.
Oh,
I don't want my meat in the
worse
same
than
thing a
bologna.
Capri Sun that comes in.
Like, I get bologna's fake, but at least they have the decency to make it look like a slice of something. Liverwurst,
try.
it looks like spam. It tastes like shit, and that's why it's in the bottom of my trash can.
So, and then what I believe is our last sandwich
Yes, sir. You are correct.
is the cucumber tea sandwich. It looks like it's
Yeah.
cucumber, bread with no crust, like specifically crustless bread, and some butter.
Now, my take on this bread is based off the name. Cucumber tea. I believe it's a tea sandwich, like a little hand sandwich for like a tea party,
Ooh.
and that's why it's cut in these tiny little triangles. Yes, it does say unsalted butter as well. So it looks like you just butter bread and then put cucumbers in between it and cut it like into little tea sandwiches.
Yeah, easy trash.
You're
This
like
goes-
shocked. You're like, I don't even know how to act.
I'm speechless from this. It's like it's like they took the veggie and hummus. At least they're trying to like, hey, like, all right, we don't have any fun, sexy things like cheese
Right.
or meat, but like we're jamming this pack full of like veggies, and like hummus is cool too sometimes. But
Yep.
then you have the cucumber tea, and it's like, hey guys, like, you know, you go over to your buddy's house and they're just totally out of ingredients. Like and it's like all I got is like butter, cucumbers, and bread. And it's like shit. Well, like that's lunch. Easy trash.
You know what I noticed based off this?
What?
They're working. You know what? If you just put up all the sandwiches based off number order, you're close to my tier list here. Cucumber tea is the 40th and final sandwich on whatever this menu is in some deli. It looks like liverwurst 39th, veggie and hummus 34th, bagel with lox 31st. They're all trash. My number one sandwich is 1. My number 2 sandwich is 2. My number 4 sandwich is 3, and my number 5 sandwich is 6. So like I'm sitting pretty at like some of these top selections out here.
You called it.
Yeah, I agree with you completely about this cucumber tea. Trash tier. I have no interest in it. It's like weird. I would taste it for sure, but besides that, not really feeling it. All these sandwiches in trash tier, I wouldn't want at all. There's only one of them I've never. Well, I haven't had cucumber tea, I guess, and the veggie hummus, but I can guess how those would taste. The banh mi, I feel bad keeping it here because I never gave it a fair shot. But when
Yeah.
you say pickled veggies, I'm gonna dislike it. If I have to keep the pickled veggies on there, that sandwich is gonna be in the basement. Same with bagel with lox. If I have to keep the lox on it, I don't want to eat it. So, do you have anything else to say about any of your trash before I read them off? Any of the ones we talked about already?
Nah, let's hear him.
All right. So for Mario's list, he's got a rather extensive trash catalog. He's got the Kentucky Hot Brown, the Turkey Club, the Tuna Melt, BLT, Veggie and Hummus, Liverwurst, Caprice, Cucumber Tea, Egg Salad, Bocadillo, PB&J. Astonishing. You're just like a bad person for that pick, but we'll move on. Falafel pita, torta. We would have had such a fight about PB&J on this goddamn tier list. I'm telling you right now, if we made our own. So that's Mario's trash tier. My trash tier is bagel with lox, banh mi, veggie and hummus, cucumber tea, lobster roll, po' boy, and liverwurst. So that is our tiers right there. I've read through them all. I think we're good on the listener side. One final thing I want to do. We had a lot of similarities, I want to state. Well, if we made our own tier list, we're looking at like meatball sub, pulled pork on top, bacon, egg, and cheese in the second row, with fried chicken sandwich, some roast beef, like Italian subs there, cheesesteaks there. We have a lot of similarities. Looks like our big differences were on seafood and breakfast sandwiches. And in this case, meaning grilled cheese somehow.
It's a staple breakfast sandwich.
So we were pretty similar lists, but with a few differences. So I am going to get rid of our list here, and the final thing I'd like to do before we bid you guys adieu, bringing it up on screen now, I'd just like you to take a look. This is the community rankings for the sandwich list. Let's roast some of these boys and go through this list. I already love what I'm seeing at the top here. So
Oh my
what can I say? Bacon, egg, and cheese. Grilled cheese. Pulled pork. Italian sub. That's 4 out of my 5 S's right there. Meatball sub is top of A. I'm living pretty out here. The boys put the respect on grilled cheese name, put it in the second spot, put my bacon, egg, and cheese in the 3, and we're sitting pretty out here.
Oh my gosh, which is just crazy to me because they love the grilled cheese and the bacon, egg, and cheese, but they hate all brunch sandwiches, like the croque madame,
Oh,
the
yeah.
croque monsieur.
Kentucky
Those are both
hot
in
brown.
C. Yep.
I'm guessing that's a breakfast sandwich. It looks like one. It looks like they don't like things they'd never had. The 2 sandwiches we weren't sure about, the bocadillo and the jambon beurre, are down there. Tonkatsu's down there. Cucumber tea, as it deserves, down there.
Liverwurst.
Final worst sandwich they have is liverwurst. Great choice. They
Lives
made
up to
right
the
choice
name.
there. What I will say I noticed about this list, some things that stand out here. The gyro is in the top tier, which was a surprise to me. I didn't expect it to be up there. I thought it would be an A, where people are like, good street meat.
A little more reserved.
Right. Like the meatball sub. It's not an everyday sandwich, so like I figured it would be down there. People loving the Turkey Club and BLT, Mario. Just goes to show
They're
why
all
they have
members.
such low numbers. We didn't give them the respect they deserve.
Yeah.
And then my final. Oh, also I got 2 more observations here. We got fish-based sandwiches all in the B tier. I would assume half the people who love seafood are like, it's S tier, and half the people who hate seafood are like, it's D tier, and they kind of just met in the middle. And
Very
then
polarizing.
Sorry, what was that?
I said very polarizing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it could be similar for the salads, which all found their way into the B tier as well. Egg, chicken, and tuna, I believe, is in here as well. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh yeah, no, tuna melt. It's there.
Tuna's
So
there.
all
Yeah.
the salads made it in there as well. And then my final observation: PB&J S tier, recognized by the people for
Oh
the
my god,
people
the people are
as
drunk.
America's sandwich. Bologna, Mario's nostalgic family treat, ends up in the C tier. Mine is what it's just sitting in a bag next to the dumpster.
the biggest travesty is just how much higher ham and cheese is than bologna by the people. Ham and cheese is A, but you put bologna instead, and it's C. That's
I
insanity.
think the point of it is that bologna's ingredients are listed as bologna and mustard. There's no list. I understand the picture appears to have cheese, but there is no cheese listed in that. And when you take away the cheese, it's worse than ham and cheese for sure. I agree with the people. I just like to assume that's how they're. I can't believe the caprice is so high. That's an interesting one for me. But yeah, the people have spoken. This is their final list, agreeing mostly with me, I would say.
But not a
Yeah.
competition.
You got all my. If it was a competition, not a competition, but if
Not
it
a
was,
competition.
all my S tiers are top of A or higher. All my A's seem to be in a similar area. I got French dip there, roast beef, patty melt. The people love a good patty melt out here. So I think like a lot of my picks are bleeding true here. And then most of Mario's picks, man hates breakfast. He hates grilled cheeses because they're apparently breakfast, and he hates peanut butter and jelly. The man hates America, and I won't stand for it. But next time, we will have not a competition about something else. But for this week, I think it's time we say farewell. Mario, thanks for chatting with me.
Of course, and people, I mean, find this tier list. We'll link it in the description of the podcast, of the YouTubes, wherever you find it. Do it yourself. See what you think compared to what we think.
Yeah, you can easily search it, an Encyclopedia of Sandwiches tier list on tiermaker.com, just in case we happen to forget to link it in the.
But we won't.
We definitely won't. We definitely won't, because
All right.
Mario volunteered to do it for us.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, take care. I was gonna say good night. It may not be night for you, but good night, good evening,
And good morning for others.
and yeah.